Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of our webinar series. This is rediscovering your library in the new normal, and we are talking about an interesting topic today. We actually had good reviews for the first run of this particular topic. Today, we're going to talk about how to research smart or how to search smart. So we're giving you a walkthrough of the different um, ways of how you can find resources, how to maximize your use of resources through um, search tools and tips. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about this morning. No, but before we continue, I'd like to remind you of our webinar mechanics as usual. This is going to be recorded. Every session is recorded for documentation. And please note that by attending the webinar, you permit us to use any form of participation for such purposes. Each session will also employ a quiz to gauge your understanding of the lessons or the topics discussed. We will be communicating with the winner at the end of the sessions. Only enrolled UP students can join the quiz. Winners should provide their UP student ID number for verification. Questions will be collected via the Q&A box and answered during the Q&A portion at the end of each webinar session. The evaluation form will be open until November 15. We're going to post a link on the chat box after the session so you can answer or you can access the evaluation form. Certificates will be given to participants who have successfully registered using their UP mail, participated, and answered the evaluation form. Those who wish to request a certificate but registered using a different email will have to send a proof of affiliation to libraryinfo.updiliman@up.edu.ph. Due to the large volume of participants, expect a considerable delay in the transmission of certificates. Okay? So, as I have said, today we're going to talk about how to search smart because, as we know, searching for the correct sources may be tedious, no, at times. But in this webinar, we will make searching effortless by learning how to employ smart search strategies. So, leading this discussion is one of the reference librarians of the Information Services and Instruction, who also works as a librarian for the Filipiniana book section of the main library. Before joining the university library, he was involved in the establishment of the Metrobank Foundation Knowledge Center as a project associate of Librarianihan Incorporated. He earned his bachelor's degree in Library and Information Science from the UP School of Library and Information Studies, wherein he is also pursuing his master's degree. So to lead this discussion, let's all welcome Mr. A.V. Gideon De Castro.
Right. Ayan, so morning, students. So just like what Isa has mentioned, we're going to discuss simple and basic search strategy. So I do believe most of you are already aware in this topic. So let's just treat this as a short review or a recap. Okay? Right. Okay, so first and foremost, I have a game as well. So these are the game mechanics. So my questions will be posted throughout the presentation. And please keep the answers or letters to yourselves first, as I would ask for the 5-letter code by the end of my presentation. Okay? All right. Okay, so I have the same price. So we have our Elsevier loot bag as well as 200 pesos. All right. Okay, so this is a outline of my entire presentation. So first, let's define what is smart search, as well as obviously keywords, which is very essential in our research process, and then the basic and advanced strategies that we're going to employ, right? And then obviously a short demonstration. Okay, so let's move along. Okay, so this one is a basic definition of smart search. So basically, it only involves using the search strategies in order to efficiently locate the materials that we're going to need or that would fit our research question. All right. Okay. First off, in terms of research, what you need first and foremost are keywords, right? So these keywords are words or phrases that would actually best represent your research or whatever you are looking for, right? So the next question is, how would you be able to identify your keywords? Okay, so the primary source where you are going to obtain your keywords are basically from your research question. So these are obviously the nouns in your research question. All right. So secondly, bibliographies or references. So you may encounter words or search terms that might fit whatever you're looking for from initial materials or resources that you have already found. Okay, and then from then on, obviously you're going to move from one resource, you're going to jump from one resource to another using those search terms. And third, you might want to check or use a thesaurus in order to determine synonymous words or terms that again would fit your research, right? Okay. Okay, so let's say, for example, we have identified with what we are looking for. So we have established, let's say, a simple search term, okay, based on your research question. So the first basic method or simplest method rather is to use that term from a general or broader perspective. Okay, so I've actually narrowed here some not really desired but expected outcomes when it comes to this kind of process. Okay, so let's say for example, your research question is primarily about the Philippine government. So basically, if you're going to use the word Philippine government in an online database, the search engine would yield or provide you articles or resources just plainly generally about Philippine government. That's why you're going to have a high recall. And that actually in itself is already a problem because where would you start if you have 100,000 results? Okay? However, it would give you a holistic perspective on various matters, subjects or topics within Philippine government, right? So you have a general idea. And that may lead you or not to a different research option, research question. Okay, so let's say for example, you might have a specific or different interest concerning our search term, which is the Philippine government. So that might lead you to another research question. Okay, so but then again, there is still a dilemma. So what you have to do next is to put another search term or keyword that would supplement your initial one. Okay, so basically you're just compounding keywords. So obviously, let's take a look at for our example. So Philippine government and political party. So obviously, improved accuracy and it would reduce recall. So you're simply narrowing down bit by bit. You're closing in on your target. Okay. However, this might also pose a threat. Let's say, for example, if you're going to use, let's say, three, four, or more keywords. So basically, the search engine would take into consideration all of those four or six terms that may eventually lead you again to a higher recall. So I highly advise that you limit your research or at least your keywords to at least one to three. And later on, I'll show you simple search strategies on how you would be able to still narrow down your search even with multiple keywords. Okay? So again, this is just the expected outcome. Okay, so let's say for example, you have employed uh, 2 or 3 keywords. However, there is still a problem. So it's gonna come from the fact that maybe some of those resources that you have gathered are synonymous with one another. So let's take a look at, for example, Philippine government, political faction, political bloc, political cabal. Although denotatively, these are similar terms, similar words, having the same definition. But then again, in different contexts, they might have a different context. So let's say, for example, political faction or political bloc. Let's say in the Philippines, these two terms in the Philippine government have different political functions. So that in itself is different. So that's why you need to be careful in using your keywords. Okay, and on that end, you'll be required to conduct a careful review for those specific resources that you have gathered. So simply by reading the abstract. So obviously the abstract is a general or basic overview regarding that particular resource, right? And the problem with that is it would take time. So obviously you need to read the context. Obviously you're going to browse the content. So efficient time management is the key. And again, like what I have mentioned earlier, utilize a thesaurus, right? Okay, so that one previously is just basic notion or a tip on how you would first proceed with your research. Now let's move on to specific search strategies. So these search strategies are actually being employed by various search engines in online databases. And for this one in particular, Boolean searching, this is being employed actually by Google. So specifically in Google Chrome. All right. So Boolean searching is developed by George Boole. So he's an English mathematician. So the way this went was that George Boole actually applied logical functions or logical operators in his mathematical equations, thus conceiving our Boolean operators, which are and, or, and not, right? And obviously giving birth to a Boolean algebra along the way. Okay, so how are we going to use and, or, and not? So first off, let's take a look at and. So using the and operator, it gives the search engine the operation to search for both keywords. All right. So you managed to input keyword A and keyword B. The search engine would search all resources in its database that would contain both keyword A and B, whether in their title, in their abstract, or as their subject. Right. On the other hand, using or, it would yield uh, results from end. And other than that, resources that would only have keyword A in its title, subject, or abstract, and resources that would only have keyword B in its title, subject, and abstract. Okay? So this one would provide you a higher recall. So again, that in itself is already a problem. But again, if you're looking for a broader perspective on these two words that you're going to use, then I suggest you use or first. Okay, so later on we will execute these operators using our online database. Okay, for a more practical approach. So obviously, using the not operator would only restrict you to only one of those keywords. Okay, So keyword A, not keyword B. Okay? So obviously, uh, the Venn diagram would explain that. All right, next off, we have another procedure which is called nesting. So usually, in most cases, in most search engines, nesting is represented by the use of a parenthesis. Okay, so similar to a mathematical operation, you first need to compute or execute equations within the parenthesis first, right? So this is actually a similar concept. So let's take a look at our example. So we have verbal or corporate within the parenthesis and communication. So basically, the search engine would provide you entries that would have verbal and communication first, and secondly, corporate and communication. So it won't provide all three. It won't provide verbal or corporate only. Okay, so it would take first into consideration the words within the parenthesis. Okay, so actually here, so the independent variable is, or independent term is communication. Okay. Next off, we have the truncation symbol. So again, these symbols vary from one search engine to another, but the most common for truncation is the asterisk. Okay. So what this does is that basically the search engine would provide terms or entries with words stemming from our root word. So, for example, person asterisk. The search engine would provide resources that have the word personal only, personality, personification, and persona in the title, in the abstract, or in the subject. Right? So, next off is phrase searching. So, this particular operator involves the use of quotation marks. So, this is very much useful if you're going to look for words, especially in the title or in its subject. So, for example, so we have here library management and educational technology. So, it would yield results with the same words in the same arrangement. Okay? Because I do know for a fact that most of us have already encountered, we're going to type 3 to 5 words, and yet we'll only receive in the results 3 words among those five, or at least 2 words among those five, right? Well, in this case, using quotation marks, it would yield the same words in the same order. Okay? However, obviously, there is a limit to the words that could be entertained by the use of the quotation marks for phrase searching. So I think if you're going to go beyond 10 or more words, obviously, you'll have a hard time searching for materials, as the search engine would take into account all those 10 words, right? Okay, so our next one is the wildcard search. So usually it involves the use of the hash or the question mark. So basically, it would prompt the search engine to provide resources that would have variations in spelling, right? So let's take a look at the word color, for example. So the search engine would automatically retrieve resources with the color having the U variation, right? Or using the hashtag, the search engine would supply the letter itself for your search. So it would do the searching for you with using that missing letter or element, right? Okay, so for our first question, what is George Bull's nationality? So again, please keep the answer to yourselves. So I'll give you 10 seconds. All right, so I think that would suffice. So next off, proximity search. So this is actually a method to search for, uh, or at least a method that would involve two words and the search engine would supply a few words in between. Okay, so let's see what I am talking about. So let's start first with our within operator. Okay, so usually this operator involves obviously the letter W. Okay, so what this does is that the search engine would locate two of your keywords and supply words in between. Okay, depending on the number that is indicated. So let's take a look at this one for example. So sugar W5 economy. So this is actually a title of a journal article. So sugar manufacture and the agrarian economy. So how many words are there between sugar and economy? So in this case we have four. Because we have used the within operator, it would search for a number of words, may it be one word in between, two words in between sugar and economy, up until a maximum of five words between sugar and economy. Alright? So obviously, this is very much useful if you're going to uh, aim for the title. Alright? So what about our near operator? So it involves the letter N. So this is similar with an operator. However, the number indicated here would enable the search engine to provide a maximum number of words in between them, between economic and development. So in this case, there should always be a maximum number of two words between economy and development. All right, so let's take a look at this one. We have two words here between development and economy. So the reason being is that in this case, the search engine doesn't actually care whether economy would be first in the arrangement or second. Okay? So our second title, the shadow economy and sustainable development. So in this case, our search engine retrieved economy first in the arrangement. Okay? However, I highly advise you to use the within operator because obviously if you're going to use the within operator, you'll still be able to encounter our near operator. Alright? So the down part in the near operator, it is only to a maximum of two words. It won't retrieve the same keywords with, let's say, a word in between. Okay? But what if that's what you're looking for that particular article which has one word in between them? So in that case, use the within operator as it would still be retrieved. Okay? Okay, so having said that, most online databases and search engines have employed facets and filters that would enable you to narrow down whatever you're looking for in your very first search, in your initial search. Okay? So in this case, you could limit your search through a language, maybe title of publication, the publication date, maybe the title of the journal if you're already familiar with academic and respective journals in your field, discipline, or industry. That would be quite useful. Obviously, the document type. And there are also tick boxes wherein you can indicate if you want graphs, illustrations, photographs, images, etc. in your search. Okay? All right, so this is my second question. So what symbol should you use for phrase searching? So I'll give you 10 seconds. All right, so I hope that's enough. All right, so having said that, let's try and execute some of those smart smart search strategies that I have mentioned. Okay, so I'm going to share my browser. Okay, so simple as that. easyproxy.upd.edu.ph. Obviously, I'm not using Delnet. I'm not in the main library, so I'm working from home. That's why I need to use easyproxy. Okay, so I think this would be the concept or the topic regarding access will be discussed in the succeeding sessions. But anyway, oh yeah, let me just maximize that. Okay, so let's go to academic search complete. So this is one of our online subscriptions. So first off, let's use our Boolean operators. Okay, so in this example, let's use the Philippines and Japan. So I want to search for materials that would contain both Philippines and Japan in them. So this is a basic search. We're not in an advanced search yet. So let's hit search. All right. So would it be true that our entries would have both Philippines and Japan in them? So yeah, we have it in the title. We have them in the subject here. Oh, this one also has Japan and the Philippines in the abstract, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So this one, it only has Japan. So maybe the Philippines is in the main body or text. Okay. How about using the OR function? So let's see if we can locate uh, resources that has both Philippines and Japan. All right. So as you can see, from 4,100 something results, it yielded a million results. Okay. So because it took into consideration certain articles or resources that would only have the Philippines in them and that would only have Japan in them, right? But then again, obviously, you can see the results from our end operator, right? Right. So last one using the not operator. Oh wait, I did hit enter. Okay. All right. So so far we can't see any word which is Japan here. So we have only limited our search to the Philippines. Right. So next off, let's have phrase searching. Okay, so that would employ quotation marks. So let's say let's use our example earlier. So educational technology is a recognized term, recognized field and discipline within the bigger uh, umbrella of education. So let's hit search. So in this case, I managed to locate resources that have educational technology in their subject in an abstract. How about the title? Okay, so most of them contain educational technology in their subject. Okay, so however, I want to look for a title in particular. So let's say I want library management in the title. So as for EBSCO, you have here limiters, operators, or facets that you could easily use. So let's take a look at this one. So on the drop down, so I can limit this particular search term in all text, author, or title subject terms. So I've mentioned I want to look for this particular word in the title. So I'll click on title. So you can see here you can compound other search terms as well. And you can add operators. Okay? So let's click search. So hopefully I would have library management in the title for most of my results. Okay, so it yielded 213 results. So, all right. So there you go. I have library management here. All right. So most of them are already in the title. Okay. So it took also in consideration the word individually. Right. All right. So again, let's go back to basic search. And let's use our truncation with the asterisk. So let's take a look at this one. So hist, what do you think would the results yield using hist and then truncation? Obviously, we have history, we have historians, and obviously it took into consideration uh, even entries that are of a different language. So it doesn't care actually of what language it is, as long as the word stems from our root word, which is hist. Okay? Histidine, histone, histamine, histiocytes, histogram, so on and so forth. Right? Okay, so proximity search. So this is more confusing for the most part. So let's take a look into the within operator. So I want to use the word tourism and province. And I actually want uh, maybe 2 words in between them, 3 words in between them, or 4 words in between them, right? Okay, so in this case, in the title, we have 3 words in between them. So, okay, it fits. At least here we have at least 1 or 2 words in between them. So we have 3 words in between them, 3 words. Okay, so this one has 2 words in between them, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's use now the near operator. Okay, so in my example, let's say I want, or at least I'm doing a research regarding naval engagements and military actions in a bay. Bay as in a body of water. So like the Battle of Manila Bay. So let's say for example battle, and I want at least a maximum of 2 words in between. I won't receive results with at least 1 word between battle and bay, as indicated using the near operator. So let's search. Right. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So this is the brief background or overview of this resource. So okay, so we have 2 words, Battle of Quiberon Bay here. We have Battle of Mobile Bay here. So we have 2 words in between them. Again, Quiberon, this one is in the title. In table, this one for Milne Bay, 2 words, 2 words, 2 words again. Two words. So, okay, so this one, yeah, you still have two words in between. All right. So those are some of the basic operators that you could use. All right. So let's go back to my slide. All right. So having said that, I would also like to point out that there are certain online databases that have formulated or employed their own uh, in-house search tool or search strategies. Okay? So let's take a look at Gale eBooks, for example. So let's go back again to Easy Proxy and then let's access Gale eBooks. So I think 3G yesterday have explained how to search within Gale eBooks. But now let's use a more advanced search. Okay, so if you're gonna have this prompt, just click on advanced and then proceed. So rest assured that the connection here would be safe. All right, so alongside again those facets and filters in the advanced search, some search engines have employed these search tools that aims to help us users. Okay, right. So anytime now. All right. So in this case, let's go to advanced search. So please forgive Gale eBooks. He requires our utmost patience. All right. So I want to go here, topic finder. Okay. So for the most part, in Gale eBooks, I always use Jose Rizal as my example. And then let's click on search. All right. So this is what I am talking about. So basically, using our topic finder, Gale eBooks visualizes various topics and search terms and associate it with our keyword. Okay, so let's take a look at our example. Okay, so it displays the degree of relationship between various topics in our search term. So obviously, Philippine American, yeah, that might be related to Rizal, although it's very broad and somehow it's very far away from the main association with Jose Rizal, which is about Spanish colonialism or Philippine independence or the Philippine Revolution. So let's take a look at this bigger tile. So I'm going to click this tile. So within that tile, there are also several tiles. So in this case, I've clicked for Philippine independence. It actually has 4 articles that would lead you to other articles or to other topics which are available in Gale eBooks. Okay, so in this case, Hawk Rebellion, Nakatipunan, so Jose Rizal, Philippines, Continuing People Power, so on and so forth. All right. So these are actually related to our search term. Pretty much this is useful if you are not familiar with your search term. Okay, so it provides a association and at the same time the degree of relationship between other topics and our keyword. Right? Okay, so I'll close that. Okay, so I think this is my third question. Pretty much basic, so I'll give you 10 seconds. All right. I hope that would do. Okay, so another tip that I want to leave you students is to make sure that the specific journal titles that you're going to look for, if you are going to locate resources from academic journals, especially in your respective discipline, is that they are peer-reviewed journals. Okay, so whenever we say peer-reviewed journals, these are journal titles that have various editors in them. And basically, for me, example, if I'm going to submit my particular research towards this journal title, those editors would actually scrutinize my research from the title, from the content, the context, my findings, recommendations, my review of related literature, and again, the word I would want to use is actually they would dismember. They would dismember your entire um, research paper and then give it back to you for a review. So they have managed to indicate what you need to do next, how would you refine your research, so that once I've submit that for a final review and it would be ready for publishing, as users, you would be rest assured that I have a quality research work. Okay, so that's for peer-reviewed journals. Okay, so that would give you the confidence that a specific research is very credible, it's authoritative, and it went through an arduous review. Okay, so next is research impact. So some online databases have employed uh, the impact metrics. So let me go to Easy Proxy again. Let's go to Taylor and Francis. Okay, so actually this would give you a rough idea on how that particular research work is effective. Right, so let's just put library for example. And let's take a look at our first example. All right, so we have here the title, abstract, etc., etc. However, this would be explained later on, I guess, by one of our speakers, Michelle. So I want to point this one out. So let's go to metrics. All right, so so far, since its publication in 2017, this particular research article received 3,330 views in Taylor and Francis. It was cited one time in Crossref as well as Web of Science. Okay, so basically there are other research articles that used this particular article, right? And also we have here the alt metric. So this one was shared maybe in Twitter, Google Plus, and as you can see here, Mendeley. Right. So for works uploaded in Mendeley, maybe 23 of those contain this particular article as part of their reference. So at least here you'll have a rough picture on the impact of a certain article. Right? Okay, so some of them have employed metrics, but not most. Right, so going back. Okay, so these are actually tips that I want to leave you. So obviously, time management, always consider your deadlines. And as you have seen earlier, the research process in locating at least a single article takes a lot of time. First off, you need to determine the proper keyword. Once you determine the proper keyword, you need to go through those results one by one and reading their respective abstracts, right? So obviously you need patience with that. Okay, so thirdly, I highly encourage you to explore our online subscriptions, our online databases. Some of them have various functions and tools that would greatly help you in your research process, like what I've shown you using Gale ebooks. And lastly, always think of your research as a contribution to mankind. Right? So that research may be insignificant as of the moment, but eventually in the near future, um, that might alleviate lifestyle of a certain people, improve certain jobs. You could speak for those who can't speak for themselves. You can defend for those who can defend themselves using that particular research of yours. Okay. All right. So this is my fourth question. So which EBSCO database did we use earlier? So I'll give you 10 seconds once more. All right. So I hope that's enough. Okay, so these are some of my references that I've used, mostly obviously for the definitions. All right, so this is my fifth question. All right, so kindly keep the answers to yourselves first. So what is the title? So obviously, if you're paying attention, this is the first slide. All right, so some of you are paying attention pretty much. So that's my cue. Right? So nobody's gonna answer anymore. So okay, so I'll reveal the answers. So BBDBC, this is the answers. Oh, whoops. Right, so our winner is Angelica Rayel.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yan din nakikita ko.
Okay, so congratulations to Angelica for winning our Elsevier toolkit.
Ayun. So
All right, so
we'll contact you later.
yeah. All right, so again, for the nth time, if you have any questions for us, any issues, any inquiries, kindly send us an email through libraryinfo.updiliman@up.edu.ph, or you may call us through these numbers. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, ayun. Thank you, AB, for that very informative and insightful presentation on how to search smart. So
Mm-mm.
perhaps most of our students are already familiar with the
Mm-mm.
Boolean method, the wildcard search methods, but they probably have not tried maximizing them.
Mm-mm.
So thank you for leading that discussion. Anyway, I would just like to share the oh, sorry. Because we only have one question. I think we only have one question from the pigeonhole. So I'll just share my screen. Sorry. I need to start my video daw. Ayan. So I'll just share my screen so we can all see the question. Nakikita mo ba?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Nasagot na pala. Haha, thanks. So,
Okay,
inadvertently nasagot mo na yung question.
that's
Pero
good.
basahin din natin, no? Paano mo Ay, sorry. Paano po pag di mo sure ano ang keywords na hinahanap mo? How will you go about researching for that topic? Would you like to share anything
Yeah,
else or add to that?
uh, like any other research process, start first with a general idea or a general term with whatever you're looking for, and then work your way down. So let's say, for example, you have already identified a certain resource, and if you want to go further on, if that wouldn't suffice, take a look at its references and its bibliographies at the very back, so that you would know what other references that particular or that initial article used in order to create itself, in order to be written by the author. So, yun lang.
Ayun. Okay. So yeah, these things they will eventually get the hang of, no? I guess.
Mm,
It's just a matter of continuing to do
yeah.
research.
Sa muscle memory. So the more
Yes,
you
exactly.
use our online databases, the more you'll get to know them more. So the more
Correct.
you'll be familiar.
Yes, because all of them, in a way, employ these search
Mm,
methods or these
yes.
smart search methods. Okay.
Actually, the functions are almost the same. The operators are the same. The only difference is actually the colors, the interface. Yun lang.
Mm, yeah.
All else the same.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, AB, for clarifying that. I think that's all for the pigeonhole. It's been a clear and concise presentation. That's I believe the reason why walang masyadong naging tanong today. I'm also looking at the chat box and wala naman ding mga tanong. So ayun, I guess that's it for this session. And siguro if you have questions, if you have other questions, sorry, I'll just open my camera.
Alright, may pahabol na question daw
Oh, sure, sure. Sa pigeonhole ba? Or sa chat?
sa chat box.
Sige,
Si
stop share ko muna. Okay. So, sige po, habol niyo po.
or
Haha.
maybe he's going to put it in pigeonhole. I don't know.
Sure, sure. Or kahit dito na lang po sa chat para mas mabilis nating makita.
Uh,
Yes, you can also turn on your microphone if you want to be heard.
Sige, mic na lang.
yes,
Wala
Joton.
naman pong ah, search engine na parang all-inclusive na nagko-contain ng maraming maraming resources or may mare-recommend pa kayong search engine.
Okay, so I can't speak, I guess, for other search engines. However, sa atin sa UP, actually, ini-employ natin yung EBSCO Discovery Service. So, nandun siya sa main library website. I think, baka pinapangunahan ko yung ibang magpe-present eh. This would be presented by some of my colleagues. So, dun sa EBSCO Discovery Service, nasa main live website. So, basically, ang gagawin nun is, it would search for resources coming from all of our subscriptions dun sa lahat ng online database natin. Okay, so ayokong pangunahan, actually, baka tatalakayin pa ng iba kong mga kasama.
Yes, yes. Exactly. Mhm.
Thank you po.
Welcome!
Thank you for that question as well. Alright, meron ditong isang tanong, tip daw, paano
Okay.
mapapractice ng pag-research ng efficient and effectively?
Okay,
Efficiently and
Angelica.
effectively. Mhm.
Alright. So, ayun, just as what I have mentioned earlier, practice makes perfect. And actually, I highly encourage you, maybe during your undergrad or after your undergrad, na submit journal articles in your respective fields, no? Actually, kahit hindi journal article, kahit sa mga local conferences. So that's actually a good practice for your research and writing skills. So, yun lang actually yung masasuggest ko really.
Mhm. You have to keep doing it
Just
until
do it.
until you become efficient. Yes.
Just do it.
Correct. Okay. So, dito merong question din. May chance pa po ba na
Ay,
makahabol yung mga di makakapanood ng webinar yesterday na mag-take ng evaluation form? Ah, I'm not sure what are our rules with regard to allowing participants to answer the evaluation form. I think you have to be you have to be
Mm-mm.
registered, tama ba? You have to have watched the the webinar, the whole webinar for you to evaluate. But I'm not sure if those who watched through YouTube can also evaluate. We'll siguro figure that out
Mm.
later and we'll let you know.
Mm-mm.
No, pero for now, we're posting the evaluation form sa chat box so you can evaluate. Those who are here now can evaluate. Para dun sa
Mm.
mga hindi nakapag-evaluate pero nakapanood naman ng webinars, yung mga past webinars, pwede nyo naman pong sagutan pa. As I have mentioned kanina sa webinar mechanics, you have until the 15th of November to
Mm-mm.
answer or to evaluate the webinars. Okay? Alright. So, I guess that's it for this session. Wala na po bang huling tanong na habulin? Ayan. So, wala na. Again, the evaluation form is now posted. You can start answering. And if you have questions, please email us at libraryinfo.updiliman@up.edu.ph. Okay. Naka-register naman po ako, ma'am. Pero hindi po ako nakahabol. Yung lang po, ma'am. I guess you can watch the YouTube version or the recording and then request for evaluation or request for the evaluation form later on. No, just make sure to complete or to watch the whole run or the whole session. Okay? Ayun. You can send us an email as well. Yung nagtanong na student para ma-address natin. Ano po yung link ng YouTube version? Nandito po siya sa nandito po siya sa chat box. Maybe you can reshare it to.
Mm.
Baka pwede mo i-share yung yung link ng YouTube para
And
pwede.
I think you can search our YouTube channel. So UPD Library.
Oh, yeah.
So
But
that's our
kasi
YouTube channel.
I think some of our or the whole webinar YouTube videos or the YouTube videos are not available yet for
Ah, yeah,
searching.
not yet,
Meron kami
obviously.
unlisted kasi sila. So yun, as mentioned by yung isang student. So we'll just send you the link. Or kung wala ba dito, sige, tignan ko lang yung chat papunta sa taas to check. Baka kasi andito naman. Ayun. Okay, I'll just copy. Sige. Sana nakakopy.
Ah, yeah. I think Miss Rai posted
Ayun
it
na.
in the chat
Okay na.
box. Yeah.
Ayun. So that's for this session, this particular session. No? For the other sessions, please just send us an email if you missed anything, if you missed any of the sessions. So we can, if you are registered, then maybe we can send you the link to the recordings and then you can evaluate after watching. Okay? Okay. Okay na po ba? Ayan. So I guess nasagot na po lahat ng tanong regarding webinars and evaluation. Yan. Ms. Rai also posted the link to the other sessions. If you're interested and would like to join us in the last few sessions, you can still register. Okay? Yeah. Share it to your friends as well. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for this session. Thank you again, AB. This afternoon, we're going to have another session on the most commonly used online databases. So we're going, one of our colleagues, Ms. Michelle Manalo, will walk you through the different online resources that are commonly used or the most sought after online databases in our subscription. So if you're interested to know more about that, please join us this afternoon. Okay. So thank you again. Thank you to Ms. Rai.
Bye.
And to all the ISAI staff, thank you to our participants, and we'll see you this afternoon.
See
Thank
you
you
later,
and
guys. And Jeds. And ladies pala. Sige.